Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the most powerful stories don't begin with victory. They begin with humiliation, not the kind that crushes you, but the kind that awakens something deeper, something relentless, something real. This story starts with a woman, simple in appearance, quiet in presence, but unshakable in worth. She walked into a luxury car dealership, not looking for attention, not dressed in diamonds, not surrounded by cameras. She was not there to show off. She was simply there to browse, to dream, to think. Maybe she wanted to surprise her husband. Maybe she wanted something for herself for once. But what she got that day was rejection, not a gentle "can we help you," and not a warm welcome in. What she got was suspicion, smirks, side eyes, and then the words that sting more than any slap: "Ma'am, this showroom is for serious buyers only. Please leave." That moment, small in action but massive in implication, reveals a cruel truth about how often society defines us by our clothes, our accent, our wallet, our appearance. She wasn't loud, she wasn't threatening. But because she didn't look the part, they assumed she didn't belong, and so she left, not with a car, but with something far more powerful: quiet dignity, no shouting match, no threats, no Instagram rant. Just grace. That kind of silence doesn't mean surrender. It means strategy, because the next day, the pavement outside that same dealership trembled. A Royce polished, majestic, unapologetically regal, glided to the entrance. The emblem of status, of power, of elegance that doesn't ask for permission. Outstepped her husband. Not a man flaunting gold chains or bragging about his billions, but a man who understood respect. A man who didn't need to raise his voice, because his presence raised the stakes. He didn't have to announce who he was. The name on the check did it for him, and what was written on that check: the full price, for every vehicle she had glanced at the day before. Not one, not two. Every single one. The silence that followed was deafening. Salesmen who had laughed now stammered. Managers who had shrugged now begged. But it was too late. This wasn't about revenge. It was about revelation. The revelation that class isn't worn on your sleeves. It's built in your soul. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, this story isn't about wealth. It's about worth. It's about the mistake people make every day, judging someone by their cover without reading even a page of their story. You see, this woman didn't walk into that dealership looking poor. She walked in looking powerful in a way the world doesn't often recognize. Powerful in humility, in patience, in self-respect. They saw her simplicity and mistook it for insignificance. But simplicity is not weakness. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to dress loud to have presence. And you don't need to prove anything to anyone when you already know your value. This woman didn't retaliate with rage. She responded with results. She didn't argue her worth. She lived it. And that's a lesson we all need to learn. Because every day, someone somewhere is being underestimated. A janitor who speaks 5 languages. A waitress who's paying her way through medical school. A mother wearing discount clothes while raising the next Nobel Prize winner. People walk past them, talk down to them, dismiss them. Because we've been trained to value appearance over essence. But the truth is, dignity has no dress code. When you carry yourself with self-respect, you don't need validation from strangers. When you know who you are, you don't need to explain why you're here. And just like that woman, the time will come when your quiet confidence will shake the very floor that once rejected you. The tables turn, not because you shouted, but because you stayed steady when others faltered. Some might think this was a display of wealth flexing its muscle, but they're missing the point. This was a moment where humility met power, where grace met truth, where silence roared louder than arrogance ever could. What that dealership saw was a woman who didn't belong. What they failed to see was a queen walking among them, with her crown tucked in her composure, and by the time they realized it, the Royce had already driven away. But the lesson, that stayed.